What's good, fam? It's another Sunday. Sunday, fun day. What's good? How is everybody doing today? It's a beautiful day. You woke up on this side of the earth. We have plenty to talk about today. How's your weekend been? Let me know in the comments. What was your most e- eventful part of the weekend? For me, I realized at the ninth hour that Friday was International Pancake Day. My daughter loves pancakes, as she sincerely says they're pancakes. I want some pancakes. So I said, okay, well, why not? Let's just do breakfast for dinner. So that's what we did. My girlfriend told me that she liked Dolly Parton's pancake mix. I'm not a huge pancake mix person. My mother, she's a baker, so everything is made from scratch. She probably would like pass out if she saw I was using a pancake mix. But my typical go-to is Bisquick. I tried Dolly Parton's. I wasn't superly impressed. But if you catch my live, it was hilarious because it was impromptu live. But I gave you a couple of tips on how to make your box mix, pancake mix, taste richer and somewhat like homemade pancakes. So check that out if you feel the need. But it my daughter was there and she roasted me. She said my pancakes, check out the live stream so you can see what she said about my pancakes. My feelings was hurt. But your kids are very truthful and honest. Anyway, where are you guys watching from? Let me know in the chat. I'm super excited tonight. Again, Sundays are the new day for Relationship Realities podcast. Sundays are just so much more relaxing. You get to chill on the couch, hang out with me, have these sister girl discussions. It's it's just Sundays is just the day now. You can catch us now every day, every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm get the house rules out. If you feel the need, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified the next time we go live or when I drop a new video. Also, if there's anything on this podcast that we discuss that you feel your friend or your cousin needs to hear, go on ahead, share it with them. Like it helps the algorithm and it helps me not only figure out what works best, what you guys want. In the chat right now, let me know what is it that you want us to talk about next. There, when it comes to love and relationships, period, there is always something to discuss. Let me know what you guys want to discuss. I'm here for it. Moving to the first topic. I'll be honest, I don't know why this is even a topic. But apparently this is. And it's been getting a lot of discussions, a lot of back and forth about something what I would consider somewhat simple, but not. Anyway, your girl, um, Serena Williams, got on TikTok and said that she's not feeling this type of decor because for her, it doesn't sit right. It feels too close to home, too close to pain, too close to history. What is it? Well, let's take a look.
All right, everyone, how do we feel about cotton as decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great. So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton, natural.
Okay, she seems like she felt like a little triggered at that point. Why is this seemingly innocent design trend? Because it's a trend, and honestly, it's been a trend for a while. Why is it getting side eyes? For me, in my home, we do not decorate with cotton. I Similar to her, I wouldn't say I'm triggered, but it doesn't remind me or give me a at home good feel, okay? Because I know when I look at the cotton in its raw state, it gets me to thinking about how this country was built on the backs of blacks, African Americans, however you want to define yourself. And we did the picking. We generated wealth for this country. Uh, Regardless of what you think or say, that's the facts. I don't want to get into politics. This is not the space for that. But when I see the cotton in its raw state, that's my immediate thought. And because of that, I choose not to decorate our home with raw cotton. Do I use cotton every day? Yes. Is cotton in my clothing? When I get my nails done, is it used to remove the polish? Yes, yes, and yes. And when I see it being used in that manner, I immediately don't think about my ancestors. But when I see cotton in its raw state on the plant, still in the pod, yes, I do. I don't get a feel good feeling. So I understand her from that aspect. I don't quite understand why it's such a huge issue. And so, does intention matter if the impact brings up trauma? For me, yeah. Maybe not for others, because I've heard a lot of people say they they're not triggered by looking at the decor. To each his own. I and again, cuz she's in the limelight, I'm sure this is getting put out there way more than it does. And there was a lot of slack. If you go on the TikTok, there was a slack because a lot of people are indicating that, you know, she's speaking about this decor, but yet she's wearing a blonde wig, that she appears lighter than she used to be, that she is utilizing a drug to make herself look thinner, and that all of those things are not who she is, not the bringing up the African descent in her. She's getting a lot of backlash for that. But if we're just speaking on the cotton, I feel her. I may not be as triggered as she is, but it's not something I would put in my own home. And, when I was thinking about it too, I mean, can we separate the aesthetics from history? Me, In the raw state, no, I can't. I immediately think about my ancestors. And yes, is that hypocritical? Because I also say, we need to be able to separate the art from the artist. I love, and I'm probably going to get some hate for this. I love R. Kelly's albums. Do I like him as a person? No. Do I like his music? Yes. In that aspect, I'm able to separate the art from the artist. This trend, decor trend, in my own home, I cannot separate the aesthetics from the history. I just can't. Now, if someone else chooses to decorate their home with the cotton, that that is solely you. But my immediate thought would be my ancestors, and I'd be like, well, that's not something I would decorate my home with. And then I don't know. Do Black women owe it to ourselves to avoid symbols that feel exploitative? I mean, even if they are on Pinterest and Pinterest says this is the trend, this is so cute, this is what you need. Do we need to avoid those things? Would you decorate your home with raw cotton? In the chat, let me know why or why not. And it's funny because let me know what y'all sipping on. Tonight I got a Pinot Grigio tonight. Tasty. Anyway, here in the South, there there's a lot of decor that is like whitewashed farmhouse style. That's, old farmhouse, old plantation. So, would you feel the same way? And I think I know what most of you are going to say, but would you feel the same way if there was raw cotton in a Black owned business versus someone else's whitewashed farmhouse style, let's just say living room or kitchen or bathroom? I've seen it in bathrooms too. Would that change things if the raw cotton was in a Black owned business versus someone else's living room? Me, I'll be completely honest. Yes. Is it right? No. It's still raw cotton. It's still used as decor. But I just feel like a Black owned business would not want to bring thoughts of oppression as people are shopping. And again, some people may not think like me. But when I see raw cotton, that's what I think of immediately. When I drive past cotton fields, because yes, there are still cotton fields in this state of Texas. When I drive past those cotton fields, that is triggering. I ain't gonna lie. That is triggering. Driving down a road and you have cotton fields on both sides. Yeah, that's triggering. Now that's definitely triggering for me. But the decor, not so much. But I get this. I do. I Why people are making such a huge ordeal about it, I don't know. But and then I'm wondering too, can we reclaim symbols of oppression? Or is that too much? Like we did with the N word, how we, the hip hop culture, turn that around and reclaim the word. Can we do the same thing with raw cotton? Hmm. Uh, Iceberg Slims in the house. What's up, TBS? What's good, Iceberg? Yeah, I can we? I don't know. Iceberg says Serena was reacting a little with the cotton. He says she was overreacting. I'm just saying. She made a video about it, so it apparently, and there are several people that made note too on TikTok that it feels triggered with the raw cotton, yet she is in the Super Bowl crip walking. I don't know, folks. Let me know in the chat. Was it too much? Was she overreacting? I don't know. And have you ever used decor that clashed with your values? So let's say, you got a big picture of somebody, artwork, somebody crip walking. Are you promoting gang violence? Because your values are nonviolence. I don't know, that could feel cute, but it clashes with your values. For me, it's Halloween decorations. As a Christian, I don't believe in Halloween. I don't. I do allow my children to go trick or treat, but I do not myself. I do not celebrate Halloween. Say what you want. But yet, I see some Halloween decorations that are cute. I want to put them in my home. I choose not to because that's not what I value. That's not what I celebrate. But maybe you can separate the two. I can't. I enough about raw cotton. Hmm. Interesting. Next. He has been in the news quite a lot. Maybe not for necessarily great things. He recently just released a new album. My husband says it's a banger. I haven't listened to it. Maybe we'll have to check out what Fresh Out Hip Hop has to say. But Young Thug, if you don't know who he is a rapper. He recently sat down with the Pivot podcast. It was a really good podcast. And he admitted some things that he told his partner. And it was really deep. I was shocked, but I will let y'all be the judge. Um, let's see what Young Thug admitted to about telling his partner.
My big brother, my dad, my mom, my OGs, I listen to y'all. Like, it's really a slap in the face to me. If you know what I'm saying? I just was telling my girl that, like, I don't think you need a therapist. I don't think I need a therapist. I feel like, I feel like I'm not a man if my girl get a therapist. It's like, damn, you actually call somebody and listen to what they got to say over me instead of just listening to what I'm telling you. I just feel less of a man.
You know, in that, there's obviously things that happen through the calls being released that did affect your relationship with your girl or did.
Y'all got to check out. I'll try to put the link in the description for the full podcast. It very interesting. I again, my cousin's always telling me I'm in my box, and so I assume that the Black community had kind of gotten over the hump when it comes to seeking assistance outside of the home for your mental health. And as you see with the video, Young Thug feels like he's less of a man if his woman needs to listen to someone else over him. He is questioning what it means when she calls somebody else, essentially to process her emotions. So, my question, when a man sees therapy as a threat, and let's just be honest, that's what it felt. That's how he felt, like it was a threat instead of a resource. What does that reveal about that man? What does that say about him? Real talk, I'll be honest with y'all. For me, flag on the play. That is a huge red flag for me. Why, you ask? I don't feel like he should be the only support system. If your man feels like he should be the only support system in your life, that is a huge red flag, because that's what he's essentially saying, that you don't need to talk to anybody else, you need to talk to me. And a good point that one of the gentlemen said on the podcast was, how can she feel comfortable, and maybe sometimes, but maybe not all the time, how would you feel comfortable approaching someone who is causing the pain? How can you feel in a safe space discussing certain issues with someone who is actually causing the pain? Real talk, we are, and especially women, we are creatures who thrive and who need to socialize. We need people to talk to. We need a variety of people in our corner. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child and manage an adult. We all know someone in our corner who is our cheerleader. We know someone who is more of our, if our parents are not in our lives, authoritative figure, one who is more of a mentor. But we need that variety in our lives. For me, that's a red flag. And maybe the men in the chat can tell me, why do some men feel rejected when their partner seeks healing out outside of their circle? Why do you feel the threat? Why do you feel that you are the go-to person? I wonder if, because as men, and I know this, at least in the Black community, I can't speak for other um cultures, but in the Black community, the man is the fixer. He fixes everything. And is this a result of that? that he would feel less of a man because he can't fix whatever issues that she may be dealing with. But know that you can't fix everything. You are not the expert in everything. And a great leader acknowledges that. You cannot be everything for everyone. You can't be everything for her. A great leader acknowledges that they are good at what they're good at, and what they're not good at, they will go and seek the experts. And there is nothing wrong with seeking out help. That's self-care. Choosing therapy is not betrayal. You're caring for yourself. And if you are dealing with someone who sees your therapist or sees you seeking out additional help as betrayal, it- it's time to have a heart to heart conversation. Like y'all got to have a come to Jesus conversation and let that person know that if they really truly care, they will understand that you need to seek additional help. You can't be the fixer of everything. And as the gentleman said in the podcast, especially if you are the one that's causing the pain, I can't seek help from you. I really truly thought that this generation kind of was over the hump of I don't we don't do therapists. Apparently, I like my cousin said, I was in my box. I and he made a comment that, oh, that's where I need to, I seek my therapy through the OGs, through the people around me. But they're dealing with some of the same generational trauma that you are. If they haven't sought assistance or talked to someone, they are dealing with the same generational trauma. And I get it. As a Black man, you are taught you need to fix everything. That you don't need to feel anything. You need to fix it. And it was funny because I just had a conversation with someone um, about how mental health for men, particularly Black men, is very dark because no one talks about it. Because again, they're supposed to be the fixer. They're not supposed to feel anything. They're not supposed to cry. And for my brothers, I hurt for y'all because because a lot of men, I don't know the stats, but there are a lot of men who feel as if they don't have anybody that they could talk to about their feelings, that there was no one that they were comfortable enough with and feel as if they were in a safe space to tell them how they actually feel. And when you think about that, that's real dark. Because what do? You keep everything inside? Women, baby, we were quick with the quickness. And men feel like they don't have, and it was a high percentage too. I'm gonna have to find that stat. If anybody in the comments can search that up. But man, I I hope and pray that they seek counseling. They seek a therapist because what they went through was a lot. And the fact that and you can look him up if you don't know Young Thug. He like again, it was a lot going on with him. Um but his partner, she stayed with him despite everything that went on. And that's a lot. And if you're in a situation, a similar situation where you got a lot going on in the relationship and you aren't seeking therapy, man, I implore you to. But in the comments, this is getting dark, deep. I want to end on a light note. Do you think it's disrespectful to seek therapy if your partner wants to be your only safe space? I don't know. Would you date a man who thinks that therapy is a sign of weakness? Hmm. Let me know in the comments. Hmm. Okay. I read this article. Y'all, it made me upset. Oh, Iceberg said therapy is good. It's just finding the right therapist. Facts. And that can be hard to do. Because now everybody's a daggone therapist. Everybody's a counselor. I implore you to do your research when you are looking for someone. And there is a difference between a counselor and a therapist. Go do your homework. The next topic. Y'all, I I ain't gonna lie. I was hurt by this article. I was really hurt by this. Um because this is like the new reality. And yeah. Essence has recently wrote an article. This was a while ago. I just came across it. Black Love Reimagined, is marriage still the end goal? It's asking. Again, this is on essence.com. The link will be in the description. But the article shows that Black women who never been married has grown. Um, it grew from 37% in 1990 to 49% in 2022. That's a lot, y'all, who've never been married. It also goes on to say that many Black women, they're now choosing personal fulfillment over settling for a ring, or the idea that the end goal is marriage. The article also goes on to say that the definitions of happily ever after have drastically shifted. That it doesn't look like what it used to, which was, the husband, the kids, the white picket fence. And honestly, that happily ever after still is still alive, because my youngest, yes, that is her goal. That is her dream. The poor child has it planned out how many kids she's gonna have. I'm happy for her. Um, and at the same time, we got to focus on school and not boys. Um, and that, maybe the happily ever after is self love, community. Although in this day and age, I find that most most, at least women, are so caught up in self love that community has gone out the window. Uh, so I can't really truly agree with the comments of that. These women are finding community and choosing, their family meaning their parents, their aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, over the picket fence, the husband, etc., etc. Also, in the article, there is a therapist, Dr. Sherry Blake, and she said that women used to panic if they weren't married by a certain age. And because of that, many women settled in unhealthy relationships so that they would not be seen as a failure. Iceberg Slim said women are remixing their roles in the community, family, household, and parenting. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're remixing it, and what they are considering family and what they are considering as community is not what we're accustomed, the older generation is accustomed to seeing as community, as family. And they're definitely remixing what a parenting is. And Iceberg Slim said, "No shade," and definitely no shade. I mean, that's facts. Women are, and that's quite evident based off of this article. They are remixing what that looks like. Um, the article also goes on to reference Ebony K. Williams, as you all probably, she's famous for not wanting to date a bus driver, but she ended an engagement, and it talks about how she embraced the possibility of being a mom as a single woman, and that she would seek out a husband after she had a child. Again, I'm sure you all will probably see in the numbers, the stats don't lie, that her chances of finding a husband with a child at her age are very, very slim pickings. Not to say it won't ever happen, but it's slim pickings. It also discusses, and this, I was happy to see this, that they talked about Jessie Wu. She's a content creator, and how she is refusing to wait for marriage to define her identity, that she's found someone, she was happy, etc., etc. But that she's holding on to love, and it essentially just summed it up with those three different views on what happily ever after looks like. And it also tied in the historical trauma impact, that they called it systemic oppression, was some of the impact for what they call trauma, that the lack of resources and generational wounds or curses have shaped Black relationships. It talked about, the red pill community, how women are choosing themselves now. The article also goes on to talk about how Black women are rejecting relationship status as validation. Again, y'all, I had a issue reading this article because as a married woman in a healthy marriage, I felt as if this was a little tainted. Um, yes, marriage is not for everyone. Totally get it. Understand. I also believe that this new happily ever is very selfish. God did not create you to be selfish. He actually created you to love, to be a helpmate. And yes, we do have Paul who said hey, I'm gonna be single, but I'm gonna dedicate my life to God. Um, at one point, marriage was symbolized as stability, validation, and economic safety. I still wholeheartedly believe that. It brought up the question, if a woman can provide stability, validation, and economic safety for herself, is the ring optional? In the chat, let me know. If a woman feels that she can provide stability, validation, and economic safety, is the ring an option? Iceberg Slim says this administration is going to make women have to find a partner, second income. Real talk. The Black woman is being affected with, I shouldn't say infected. The effects of the economy and unemployment is grossly impacting Black women. It's very disheartening. And so it makes you question, are we economically safe if we are by ourselves? But I challenge this article because I feel as if stability, validation, and economic safety is not everything. I wholeheartedly believe what we are identifying as things that will make us happy, things that symbolize stability, symbolize validation, symbolize economic safety, are not really so. Like Iceberg said, they're remixing everything. God created you to love. And although marriage may not be for you, and for those who it is, I come all aboard. But I really think we really need to reassess, truly, factually, because this that's my truth. What happened to the truth? Real talk. What happened to the truth? Like it's if the truth is not the truth anymore. And when I spit facts, when I spit stats, well, that's not my truth. But it's the truth. When did we get to the point when The truth is not the truth. And I get it. Some people may be chasing men to fill voids, and that's not the reason why you should get into a relationship. Um but there are also people who really truly genuinely desire partnership. And the article also goes on to say that many women are saying that I don't need someone else to complete me. And there's an I argue, and I shouldn't say I argue, I challenge. Are you complete if you have no one to love? And maybe you are. Maybe you were created on this earth to be single. This whole reimagining of love, the whole Maya thing, I'm marrying myself, that was a bit much for me too. Yeah. The Iceberg Slim said Ebony K. Williams was married to a white man and he divorced her during COVID-19. Dang. Yeah, that was a must. That was that was crazy. The pressure to marry, is that cultural conditioning, or do you think that's a personal calling? For me, at least in the Black community, it's a personal calling. In other cultures, I truly believe it is a cultural conditioning. There are many cultures who and it's also in the Bible too. If you were unmarried, it was like you were considered dirty, unholy. With Black love, it's more of a personal calling, I believe. Um, I don't know, y'all. Take the time, read the article. Let me know your thoughts. I'm, you know, I do believe love can be lived outside of a marriage, in friendships, but I really truly believe this new era is very selfish. And I don't believe that's what God called you to be, to do, to be selfish, selfless. Um Again, marriage doesn't have to be a requirement. Um I really truly believe you should not ever feel pressured by society or by your family or your culture to get married and feel like, that's the only way to win. But if it's really truly in your heart, go for it. There there are successful marriages out there. Um and don't be scared. Live life. Question in the chat. Is it possible to redefine love without rejecting marriage? Can you redefine love without rejecting marriage? Iron said, Iceberg Slim, Eve was made by God from Adam's rib. The rib protects the most vital organs for living. Facts. Can you be complete? Can you be complete without a spouse? Hmm. I don't know. Thanks for hanging out. This was a good discussion. Black love, young thug, and some raw cotton. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the chat. Send me a message. What is it that we need to talk about next? Again, there's so much on love and relationships that we could go on and on all night long. But let me know, what is it that you want to talk about next? And again, I am still working on a special project for you all. I'm hoping to engage with you all more. And so this project that I'm working on, I'm super excited. But again, thank y'all. See y'all and have a very productive, blessed week. Until next Sunday, I'll holler at y'all later.